He's getting some light relief himself. We don't want a repeat of the Prince Philip funeral fiasco. Roger also has about an hour to himself every day when I take my walk, when he can release his tensions. Ladies, we all know that a man has needs, but we don't have to be there when he satisfies them. Roger's like a lot of men, I suppose. He thinks about sex when he's doing other things. I think about other things. I don't think I need to finish that sentence. He's not very romantic either, is Roger. If I want my hand held, I have to go to the nail bar. Now, I know when you've been with the same person for a while, things can get a little stale in the sex department, but I was quite upset when Roger said to me recently, "You are so predictable. Why don't you ever surprise me? Dress up or something." So the next day, when he got back from his walk, I did surprise him. I was wearing his mother's clothes. He wasn't laughing. I always thought he wanted me to be a bit more like her, you see, but it didn't go down well. I think it was too soon after her funeral. If I'd known that Roger had a heart condition, I'd have done that ages ago. Anyway, the ambulance men were amazing. I take my hat off to them. It was Roger's mother's hat. Now, some of you might think that was unkind or even cruel, but Roger's been doing a number of things recently that really irritate me, like waking up. Having said that, when he's asleep, his snoring keeps me awake. So I was thinking about buying an anti-snore pillow, but then I realised any pillow's anti-snore. Yes, when you put it over someone's face. Now, a few days after that, I had a surprise. I was in the supermarket and I needed the loo. And you know what? They've got a condom machine in the ladies at Tesco. I know you're surprised. You thought I shopped at Waitrose, didn't you? Roger was a bit of a late starter sexually. He had terrible acne when he was a teenager, and I think it sapped his confidence. Now, eventually, his mother took him to the doctor, who prescribed these terrific tablets, and they cleared Roger's skin up just in time for him to go to Ibiza with his friends on an 1830 holiday, and I gather that he made up for lost time. But then he had to visit another doctor when he got back. I was a late starter, too. I was 20, but that was because I wanted the first one to be special, and he was. He could only become aroused if I covered him in baby oil while he was watching videos of Only Fools and Horses. Then he asked me to dress up as Trigger and to call him Dave. The one after that wanted to be treated like a baby, so I dressed him in a nappy and I popped him in a cot. And then I left him crying with a childminder while I had dinner with his dad. My next boyfriend was a masochist and he begged me to hurt him. So I slept with his best friend. He said that wasn't what he meant. So I had to think of something else. I waited till he'd videoed the whole of the Japanese Grand Prix, and then, just as he sat down to watch it from the beginning, I told him who'd won. Another reason I didn't have sex when I was a teenager was because my mother said to me, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and I'm not good in the kitchen. Eventually I found out if you go down about 6 inches. It's a lot quicker, more effective, and you don't have to stand up for so long. These days, sadly, my mother's in a persistent vegetative state, or as I like to call it, constantly watching Countdown. Now, I suppose that's better than the alternative of being the oldest pole dancer in Spearmint Rhino. Now, when I was at school, she was a lollipop lady. She had a big round head and a very skinny body. That's a proper joke. If she saw someone ugly walking down the road, she'd say, well, he can't help what he looks like, but he could stay indoors. She said that when she first met Roger. I wasn't put off. Within weeks of our meeting, we'd moved in together and we were doing the things that married people do, having sex when only one person wants it. This is the laugh of recognition there. Then there's not having sex because the other person doesn't want it, and lying together silently, side by side in the darkness, after sex, which neither of us wanted, but both of us thought the other one did. You don't plan not to have sex with the person that you marry. It's a bit like buying some food you've got every intention of eating, and then weeks later you find it at the back of the fridge or the cupboard. It's past its sell-by date. You don't fancy it anymore. And you can't even work out why you bought it in the first place. These days, I do my best not to overstimulate Roger. And to that end, I only ever serve decaffeinated coffee as a precaution in the evenings. But if I really want to dampen his ardour, I replace his Viagra with laxatives. I will occasionally oblige with a BJ, because I find afterwards he's much more willing to clean the oven. A tip for the ladies there. Oh, another little tip for you older ladies: don't get your hysterectomy on Groupon. I've got a friend, Angela. She's divorced, sadly. She hasn't got anyone to clean her oven. But she has found this marvellous app which helps her meet suitable men. It's called Check a Trade. Now, before I go, I think I need to address the elephant in the room. Some of you might be thinking, where have I seen this lady before? Well, the answer is probably Crime Watch. I'm actually Sally Firth, the Kilburn killer. Now, to be clear, I never actually lived in Kilburn, but I did kill a number of people in the Kilburn area. But that's all behind me now, and they're in a better place. I really should go because I'm on a curfew, and if I stay much longer, my tag's going to go off. You've been lovely. I've been Sally Firth. Thank you.